Hello, Saints of St. James, and welcome to Hump Day, Wednesday, May 20th. I want to talk a little bit about what to expect this Sunday. Well, we are on the cusp of an exciting event as we have our very first in-church worship service in 11 weeks. Isn't that hard to believe? Lent 2 is still on the hymn board. As you know, we are allowed to begin with groups of 10 only. But that's a start, right? Attached in your email, you have an attachment with a list of participants for each service this Sunday, in case you don't remember what time frame you signed up for. It also includes those who chose not to come. There are 9 participants allowed at each service plus the priest. 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. this Sunday, May 24th. 6 people have dropped out the last couple of days for various reasons. So there are 2 openings for 11, 2, and 4. If you have changed your mind and want to fill those slots, then I need to know immediately, like right now, tomorrow at the very latest. That's just necessary for seating charts and things, as you'll see. Now, here's what to expect for this coming Sunday. First of all, park in the back. Not in the front, park in the back. That way other people won't see the cars parked in the front and assume they can join us. I know, that's actually how it's supposed to work, right? But not for now. I would hate to have to turn anyone away, but I can only allow 9 of you at a time. So come in the door in the back by the columbarium. That's where the ashes are kept of the departed members. And many of you come through that door anyway when you park in the back. This door, and this door only, will be open 10 minutes before the service. And I encourage you to try to get there at that time. Someone will be there to greet you. Bulletins will already be in assigned seats. And then those bulletins will be discarded after the service. You're free to take them home if you want. The chairs that you will be sitting in will be sanitized after the service with disinfectant, and we will use a UV light on them as well to get them ready for the next service. Masks are required. If you don't have one, there will be some available outside the columbarium door that you can put on before entering the church. These aren't personal masks that you can keep, so please leave them in the bucket after the service, also outside the door, so they can be washed and sanitized for the next week. If you need a personal mask, contact Karen, and she can certainly make you one. She'd be happy to. Social distancing, that's a phrase that we've become very familiar with, isn't it? 6 feet apart, as we all know by now. And we are not to touch anyone who's not a family member. 6 feet is 4 seats across. I measured it. It's hard to believe it's that far, but it is. 4 seats across, and every third pew back. Not every other pew back, every third pew. Seating is already selected with that in mind, pre-measured for you. Each row used will accommodate either a single person on each end or a couple on one end and a single on the other. That's all that we can accommodate on a row. And you may sit wherever you see bulletins that are placed. If you see 2 bulletins beside each other, that's for a couple. Each service will have a different seating chart depending on the number of couples and singles in attendance. And I will set that up accordingly with bulletins for each service. Now, I'm asking that you please not go up into the upper level where the parish hall is. There's no reason to go up there. Because if you do, that will mean that it needs to be resanitized, and we want to avoid that if possible. The restrooms outside the worship area are available, and they will be wiped down between services. Please use the hand sanitizer in the restroom and in the narthex area, either coming in and out. If you don't have your own, that will be available to you in the narthex. Worship will be similar to what we do typically at our Wednesday noon Eucharist. There will be no singing because we're wearing masks, except for the Jesus prayer during communion. The first half of the service will be, as usual, what you usually expect on a typical Sunday morning, except for the music, through the peace. After the peace, we will receive communion from the reserved sacrament. By not consecrating the bread at each service, we will eliminate a lot of extra sanitizing. So, we will use pre-sanctified bread from previous services, and the bishop doesn't allow the priest to pass the bread to you hand to hand. So for now, it will be placed in a sealed envelope on a table in front of the altar rail, and you may come up one at a time to receive it and take it back to your pew. This allows you to take communion after you leave the church building and not have to mess with taking your mask on and off. That can be awkward if you're trying not to touch the front of the mask itself and get it retied and so on. The offertory plate will also be on that table, so you can place your offering in it as well without touching it. At the end of worship, we will have some time to visit, I hope about 15 minutes, while staying in our places. We will then leave the church one at a time from front to back so that we keep our distance. I know that feels a bit extreme, and it probably is, but for good reason. The bishop's protocol has our health uppermost in mind, and so that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, for those who have chosen not to attend on Sunday and who would like to receive home communion, I'm making this available the previous day, Saturday, May 23rd, from 10 to noon, that's this Saturday, for drive-through pickup. I will be in a mask and gloves and will hand it to you, and again in a sealed envelope, as you each drive through the overhang in the back of the church. Save this envelope for your house worship the next morning when you have your worship guide sent to you. Special prayers will be listed before and after you receive in that guide. This will give us a brief chance to see one another, speak a few words to one another, which will be a delight for me, and I hope for you. For those who are unable to come by the church to receive their consecrated wafer for their home service the next day, I'm happy to bring it to your house. Again, I will be masked and gloved when I come to your house, when I give you the envelope. I'm not allowed to come into your house so as to avoid mutual contamination or the possibility of that. Again, super cautious precautions for good reason. Home deliveries will be made on Saturday afternoon after the drive-thrus are done. So whether you're planning to come for drive-by or you want me to come to your house, I'm asking that you please email me today and let me know what you want. A third option is also available. You may choose to not receive home communion at this time. There are a couple of you who have already told me that because they don't want to take any unnecessary chances right now. Those are the three options. Please let me know what you want to do today. So we will continue to do what we're doing. We will have in-church worship as well, and we will offer communion or the sacrament to be taken home. This is our first Sunday, so we'll see how it goes. Please be patient with our process of restarting, as none of us, the bishop has never been through something like this. I certainly haven't, and you haven't. None of us have ever had to do anything like this before. So it's a whole new deal for all of us. I know it can be frustrating, but we can't do more than the bishop allows. And he is determined to go slower than faster out of concern for our safety, and I think that's the right thing to do. None of the procedures outlined by the bishop are negotiable, except that we can do less than he asks if we want, but simply not more. Now, I have no idea, and I'm not even going to try to guess, I have absolutely no idea how long we will be in this phase of 10 people only. So we just live with it until we find out otherwise. We are fortunate, though, and you may not remember this, we're fortunate in that we get to start in-church worship, while the churches in the greater Dallas area are only allowed at this point to do the drive-by distribution of communion or home communion. By the way, as I mentioned, you will also continue to receive the taped sermon, hymns, and worship guide, because almost 65% of you have chosen not to do in-church worship at this time. And that's not at all unexpected. While we are taking every precaution we can You have to consider your own comfort level right now regarding your health and your risk factor. Whatever you decide to do, we will do our best to accommodate you within the bounds that the bishop has set for us to follow. Every effort will be made to maximize your protection while allowing you to participate as fully as possible in the sacramental worship life of the church, given the potential vulnerability you may have with whatever pandemic risk factors you are concerned about. Now, one other thing, the Tuesday prayer group has asked to reserve 6 chairs in the parish hall for their 4 p.m. meeting. So I will place these 6 chairs in a circle, each 6 feet apart for them. They must wear masks as well. The kitchen is off limits, no eating, drinking, or touching. And they're not allowed to go to the lower level for the same reason that Sunday we're not allowed to come to the upper level. They may use the restrooms in the upper level. After their meeting, the area will be wiped down and sanitized. If you want to reserve a time in the parish hall for a group meeting, please call me to set it up. Call me to set it up. Those are the parameters for all meetings at this time. Okay, I know we all wish that it was just like it used to be. And there's just too much that we don't know about yet. That's our reality. But we are making progress, albeit slow. It is progress. So cheer up. It'll be great to see one another in whatever venue we do this Saturday or Sunday. It is a wonderful time to learn the virtue of patience, as I've said before. I'm learning to be better at it, and it's something that I've needed to practice a lot more in the past years. We need to maybe reflect a little bit on what it means to slow down, to consider what life means on its deepest levels, especially as Christians, and adjust our own lives accordingly. It's just such a wonderful time for personal reflection on these kind of things, and it can be a real powerful spiritual time for each of us. So, just a reminder and a word of encouragement, we are all going to get through this together, but it will take time. It'll take some time. Hang in there. God bless you. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in some capacity either Saturday or Sunday. Bye.